Hello and welcome to this video. In this video we're going to be looking at this APC Smart UPS 1500, or this pair of. The main focus is actually this unit here. This is one that I've just got off Facebook Marketplace. I picked this up from someone that was selling it that needed new batteries, but now it's actually completely dead. Like, even when you plug it in, it doesn't do anything. There's no power, nothing. So we're thinking about, because the batteries are just that dead in it now, otherwise it could be a fault with the unit. So we're going to take a look at that thing. This here is my existing Smart UPS 1500. I got this from a car boot sale previously, and I've done a video on this, so I'll put a link up here to it. But that's good and working. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cells from this one and put them into this unit here to test this before I order any, because it's pointless spending the money if the unit is going to be beyond repair. Now you can tell already mine is very scuffed and marked and worn. This one is like immaculate. Well, you can see the condition on it there. But the main thing that made me buy this is because it's got the network adding card. So if we look at the back here, you can see at the top it's got that card there installed, the network management unit. So you can access this over USB or Ethernet. That one there has only got USB connection, my existing one. So all being well, if this is working, I'm going to order some new cells, and I'm going to use this to replace the 750 model, which I've currently got on my home network, which I'll put a link to the video up here of it. But that's this unit here. That'll just give my servers and the home network more runtime in the event of a power outage by using this unit. So with that aside, I'm going to put this camera on the stand. I'm going to take the fronts off and try changing these battery packs over. But first I'll plug them both in and show you what it should do and what this one doesn't. So here we have both units side by side. I've got a power cable here that's plugged into the mains, and I'll show you this one first. So when I connect the power to this, nothing happens, no noise, no fans. There is a fan in the side of these units. It won't turn on. It's just completely dead. I've even tried the circuit breaker on the back, resetting it, pushing it in, and that's fine as well. If I connect power to the good unit here, you'll notice when the mains goes in, you hear a sort of thud sound from the transformer and stuff that's in it, and the relay's clicking in, and then you also hear the fan running on the side. So I'll do that now. And now the fan's on and running on the side as well. The fan stays running at a low speed even when the system's turned off, and if we press the power, the unit comes on like so. That's what I would expect this to do. So I'm going to turn this off and disconnect the power and turn it off fully. And let's get the fronts off these things and try the different battery packs in. Okay, so I'm going to start with the bad unit. Let's hope that the battery pack hasn't leaked acid everywhere. So you just put your fingers at the side here and pull in these two holes, and then if you pick the unit up, the front door unhinges from the bottom like so. It's got these little lips that sit in the front. These are the things that you need to pull with your fingers here. Put that on top. Then there's two screws in here which open this door, which will then flap down. The person I got this from says that they have replaced the batteries once in the history that they've had it. So we'll see what kind of batteries it's got in it, and whether it's a proper manufacturer battery pack or one that's been made. I tend to make my own using Yuasa cells because they're generally my favourite brand of battery. Looking at this, this might be a battery pack that they've made. I'm just going to disconnect the battery connector from the back, pull that out, and then I can slide the cells out, hopefully. Oof, they're quite tight. The protective guards come off. I'm going to have to try and prise these out. I'm just going to get this screwdriver in here just to pick them up. Maybe they're stuck to the bottom bit, or they might have swelled, and that might be why they're not coming out. I'm just going to give it a bit of a wiggle, which actually seems to be loosening it up some. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so once it gets out far enough, you can get a grip on it. You could also tip the machine forward, but I've not really got the ability to do that whilst filming it. So we'll stick to this. This may be a slightly better angle. I'm also trying not to put my fingers underneath too much in case the battery acid has leaked, because I don't want to get it on my fingers. I can feel that the cells have definitely swelled, which probably explains why they're so tight. I'll put my fingers in the holes here and pull them out, like so. Then this would have made sense for me to move the other unit first. Let me put that back. There's a little bit of room. I'm not seeing a lot in the way of leaked acid, but I'm seeing swelling. So this connector just pulls apart like so. And then I'll push the unit to one side. So if you look at the cells here, you can see how that's all sort of ribbed and swelled. That would have been one of the reasons that it was so tight in there. Underneath, we're actually good. There's not been any battery acid leaked out. So here's the markings on this battery pack. It's from Value Power Systems, so it's a third-party one. Pre-made pack, I would have said. I don't think that the person has assembled this themselves. Actually looking here, I think there has been some acid leak. If we look at this connector, you can see there that's kind of corroded. So we might have had a little bit of something there. Unusual to be at the top though. And if we spin this around, we've got the fuse here, bolted through, and linking the two cells together. There's no leaking or anything here. That's a 100 amp fuse there, you can see it wrote on it. So I'm going to split these apart and rebuild my own battery pack, but I'm going to leave this for now and just put my known good battery pack in here to test it first. If it works and the unit's okay, then I'll order some new cells and we'll rebuild this battery. So let's have a look. Okay, so this is the battery pack from my unit. You can see it's quite dusty inside. This is a rather dusty place, but it's taped together with sellotape, which is probably the first thing you'll notice. And it's got these plastic covers. This was an original APC pack that I disassembled and put Yuasa cells in. So then I just taped them together. I only had sellotape at the time, I think, so that's what I used. But you'll notice that these aren't swelled or ribbed or anything. I'm not sure how old these cells are, because I appear to have neglected putting a date on them. Normally I'd put a sticker on with the date that I replaced them. I'll have to have a look on my channel, and I'll have a look when I did this video, and I'll put that at the bottom here somewhere. What I'm going to do is I'm not even going to actually put this battery pack inside the unit. I'm just going to literally connect it up, sat at the side here, and see if the unit does anything. So here's the unit. I'm going to connect this battery connector, making sure that the polarity is right, which it should be. Red to red, black to black. And then I'm going to connect the mains and see if anything happens. But first, actually, I'm going to connect the battery connector at the back. I just heard a little arc, like a sound, which was good. Now I'm going to put the mains in. I'll leave the screen where you can see it. Well, that was a good sound. That is a good sign. We're all lit up. It should do a self-test in a second and click onto the batteries. There we go. Okay, and then the fan will run quite high for a minute to cool the charging circuitry, and then it should turn back down again in a second. There we go, perfect. So yeah, that's a good sign. I think I'm going to order some batteries then, some cells, and we'll rebuild this battery pack. So let's do that now. Okay, so fast forward a bit. Here's two brand new Yuasa cells. These are the NP18-12B variant, 17.2 amp hour, 12 volt cells with the bolt through type terminals. So let's get this thing rebuilt. I'm just going to take these covers off first, like so. And I suppose we'll start with the connector here. So I'm just going to get some pliers on them, hold the nut, and undo the screw. So it might be easier to stand it up on end, I think, here, because you can apply force into the screw. Put the pliers around the back, and there we go. This is the one that's a bit corroded, where I think it has leaked a little, but it should be good. Just going to make sure to wash my hands after I've handled this. You can see there, it looks like that's where it's corroded out from, where it's leaked, around the terminal there, just in that little bit. Anyway, let's strip the rest of these down. This one is actually incredibly tight. There we go, that's released that a little bit. I had to get the pliers on it and work it out. They're never usually quite that tight. I mean, you want them tight for a good connection, but that's a bit ridiculous. I'm keeping each set of nut, bolt and washers together. And now we're going to set the fuse off. I'm going to need the long nose ones for this. There we go. That one was very tight. Just got it a little slack now. I had to use the pliers in here to leverage it in place. They're never usually quite this tight, but this is not a genuine like original APC battery. This is a third-party pack, which I've not taken apart before. I usually, when I've replaced them in any unit, they've had the original packs in. But yeah, there we go. There's our 100 amp fuse that links the batteries. So now we can split these things apart and look at what brand cells are in it. I do have to say that they look very similar to the Yuasa ones, but we shall see. There's a hell of a sticky pad between them, so I'm just going to get the leveraging stick and break these apart a little. Oh, they are Yuasa. I can see the brand name on them. So they are good quality cells. I've never actually witnessed Yuasa ones leak before now. This is the first time I've seen acid leak on them. And albeit it's only a very tiny bit out of that one terminal, but compared to the other brand of batteries like Long and the like that come in the pre-made APC packs, those always leak. I've always seemed to have leaked and bulged loads. Yeah, so there we go. That's a hell of a sticky pad they used there. So yeah, it's the exact same cells. See, look, we've got the 12 volt 17.2 amp hour. That'll be in NP18-12B, but I'm not peeling all that off. So yeah. Sweet. Let me put these out the way and let's make the new pack. So here are the cells to make our new pack. Face to face. I'm not going to bother putting sticky pads and stuff between them. I just put them up like that and that does me. I mean, you could put something in there if you wanted to keep them a little bit apart, but yeah, I've never had a problem. Anyway, 100 amp fuse again. I'm going to pop this on this side here. Oh, the spacing is actually different on this fuse. We can see how it's actually been bent. This is bigger than the fuses that normally come on them from APC, because the holes don't line straight up. The holes only line up when it's sort of like that. So yeah, that might be why they had the sticky pad in there. But anyway, it'll work. I'll make it work. So I'm going to get the screw through, put the washer on the back end. There we go, that might be a little better. So yeah, the washer's on, let's put the nut on. I'm going to leave that loose for now until I've settled on the positioning. But if you look at that, where it stands now, you can see how that bullet hole is like so far out. Which that spacer would have made up the difference, and this is already bent somewhat anyway. I can probably bend it a little bit more, and I'll also probably leave a little bit of a gap between the cells just to make it fit. But okay, so I'm going to tighten up the bolts for the fuse. Like so. I'm going to keep the batteries held together whilst I do this. It's kind of hard to show you it, but I'm basically sort of squeezing the battery with my fingers down the side here, keeping them together, whilst also holding the pliers on, just to keep the nut in place. Right, that's nice and tight and secure. I've got a smaller gap than there was originally here now. You can see there's also a bit of give that moves on that, so we can sort that. Going round to the front, now it's time to attach our flying cable and connector. So we're going black to black, red to red. We want to put the washer through there, like that, and the nut. Tighten this up. Do it finger tight to get started with it. There we go. And I'll do the other one as well, finger tight. Just be careful as well at this point not to touch across the terminals, obviously, because these batteries usually come with some charge in them. So you might get a little bit of a tingle off them. You could also put something in here if you wanted to make it less likely that you're going to touch between the batteries with your fingers whilst you're doing this. So that's pretty good. Just going to tighten it up. Nice and tight. And the other side as well. Oh, you couldn't really see that, but yeah, I just tightened the nut. And then that. So they're tight now, they don't move, you can see, if I try and wiggle them, which is good. So now, that is our pack made, basically. I'm going to put these little guide covers back over again, off the other pack. I'm not going to bother taking the sticky pads off and using pads, I'll just sort of use tape to apply these over. And what I'm also going to do first is go around the outside of the whole pack to keep the batteries together at the bottom. So I'll show you that now. Okay, so I'm just going to use some electrical tape for this, but you can use basically any tape, it doesn't really matter what the tape is. So I'm going to straighten these up, get them close-ish, and then go sort of an inch up from the bottom and wrap round. Righty-ho. So there's the bottom done. Obviously it's not like super strong, it's just sort of to hold them together. You can also go over the top if you want, but what I'm going to do in this case, like on my other one I think I went straight over the top. With this one I'm going to put this plastic guard on and then go all the way around this side like this, because that'll just kind of hold that in place there. So I'll stand it on its back and just tape around. Make sure that they're straight again. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but yeah, that cell there looks like it's actually been dropped or caught on something. It's a bit rough there. Anyway, there we go, that's the front end done. Now to do the back, I'm going to do the same thing again, put this little plastic flap on. And notice this is a bit bulged because the fuse is sticking up here. You can bend that down a bit if you want, but it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to put this over and tape it up. So that should do. I mean, you could go a bit further if you wanted to, but they're fairly secure together like that. You can see I'm sort of wobbling them and they're not coming apart because they're strapped together both ways. They will have some movement still, see, look, but you're not realistically going to be carting this battery pack out separately. This is going to go in the UPS and stay like that. So UPS ready, batteries ready. Let's now plug these in. I'm going to make sure that the connector's disconnected on the back though. There we go. The battery disconnect is out. Now we can plug these in. Nice satisfying click. And I'll offer the cells up to the unit, making sure this connector doesn't get in the way. Like so. Yeah, it seems okay. Just give them a bit of a wiggle in. There we go, that is all the way in. You'll notice that there is a bit of movement side to side on them. Not too much, but that's just because we've not got that packer pad. It really doesn't make much difference, to be honest with you. So now we're going to put this front door on, hook these latches in again, and put the screws back in. Like so. And put the front back on. You've got to pick the unit up to stand the front in. This groove at the bottom here, these grooves have got to go into. It sort of hinges on from the bottom. You can either pick the unit up and hook it on, or put it over the edge of a desk and do it. So yeah, that's hooked. Sweet. So now I can reconnect the batteries. And I suppose we can just see if it comes on without mains power, just to see if there's any charge in these cells, which it does. And it's running purely off the battery power now. It reckons the cells are almost fully charged. I think each of these is about 20%. So I'm going to turn that off now and hold the button to fully power it off. So now if I connect the mains, like so. Just heard it click in, and now it's doing that little whistling noise and humming to charge the batteries. Turn it on. It should do a quick self-test, and then it'll kick back into mains and just sit here and charge. I'll have to let it charge up to full. So there we go. That kicked on, did the self-test, and it's gone back onto mains now. The fan will go down in a minute and it'll just continue to charge. So what we need to do next is a test, like a load calibration test basically, which is where we connect like a light. I usually use floodlights or stage lights, things like that. And then we pull the mains out and let it run completely flat, then charge it up again. That's how you calibrate one of these things. So I'll come back when this is fully charged and show you doing the calibration. Okay, so here we go. It's actually another day. I've left this unit charging overnight and I've just come back to it. Now, one thing I forgot to mention when I was doing the battery pack is that you should really label the cells with the date that you put them in, that you changed them. So that's good practice. I've just actually took my front back off this one to put my sticker on. That's my Dymo label printer that I did an unboxing on a while ago. I'll put a link up here, but it's a good little printer. So yeah, this is now fully charged. I'm going to get it together and then we'll calibrate it using this floodlight that I've got here. I'll show you how that works. Okay, so the front is back on the unit and it's all labelled up in there now. So this has been on charge now for over 12 hours. It's definitely fully charged 100%. I mean, you can see the meter anyway. But now I'm going to calibrate it. So to do that, what I'm going to do is connect a fixed load. So you connect a light or something. This here is a floodlight. It's got a halogen bulb in it. Probably 400 or 500 watts, something like that. You want at least a 33-ish% load on the unit. So depending on the wattage output, which is usually always wrote on the back, you can see there this is a 1500 model. And it does 1500 V8 at 980 watts. So 400 to 500 watt floodlight is going to load this to about halfway, so that'll be good. All I've got here is a IEC to 13 amp adapter, and then the floodlight is just on a 13 amp plug. So when I plug that in, it just comes on and swamps the camera out like so. And you'll notice on the front of the unit we've got 2 bars lit up. So that there is loaded. And all you do to calibrate this now is you take the power out of the input and leave it to go completely flat. It'll keep beeping and beeping and beeping faster and faster. So like so. Every so often it'll beep until it gets to the point where it doesn't know how much battery's left. That's why we're calibrating it. So I'll come back in a minute when it starts beeping quicker and we'll see how long this runs for. It's currently 3:52. Okay, it's starting to get low now. As you can see, it's not sure exactly how low the battery is. It's actually been running for a while. We're 20 minutes in at this point. It still reckons it's got 2 bars worth, but we'll see. It's still going. It's got 1 light left, still beeping. It's been doing this for about 2 minutes now, I think. 2 or 3 minutes. So far we've been running for around about 27 minutes. I just missed it. I was just going to start recording and it cut off. So the light's just gone out. You can see that the battery light is flashing there. The time is now 4:24. So it ran for 32 minutes into this 400 or 500 watt load, whichever it is. I'm not too sure. I think it's probably a 5. So I'm just going to plug the mains power back in. And in a minute that light will kick back in when it detects that utility power is back. Might actually have to... Oh wait, no, the fan's kicked in. I don't know whether you have to actually turn it back on or whether it just kicks back in. We'll soon see. Okay, it's been a good like 5 minutes or so, it's still not come on, so I'm going to turn it off. And then back on. Well, it's actually turn the fan off and come on now. It would have probably eventually turned itself on if I'd left it to charge for long enough, but there we go. So I'm going to leave this to charge up. So I think that's pretty much it for this video. I'm going to leave it there. So if you found this video helpful, please leave a like down below. Any questions or feedback, put them in the comment section down below. And get subscribed to my channel for future random technology, networking, electrical videos like this one. Thanks for watching.